Hey guys, welcome to Flower Class with Lily's Flower Truck. I'm Catherine, the owner. I have Lily here today as well. Come here, Lily. Here's Lily. Hey guys. This is Chuck. You wanted to come in the picture too. So because of Lily, part of our proceeds go to the local animal shelter. I loved seeing you all a few weeks ago, so thanks for having me back. So we'll go ahead and get started, but I just want to tell everyone it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want to follow along, you can follow along. If you want to get creative and do your own thing, that's totally fine too. It's an art. It's up to you. Just have fun with it. Now make sure you get your glass of wine. You can pause it if you want to. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing is your chicken wire. So some florists use Oasis, but it really isn't environmentally friendly. So a lot of florists also use chicken wire. So everyone should have their glass, and I just have a glass of water here to pour in. You could get yours from the sink or anything. Feel free to pause again. So first we'll take your chicken wire, we'll fold it in half like a hot dog, and then we'll fold it around the edges, kind of in like a little dome shape, just big enough to fit into your vase. So you just fold it in, and this will hold the flowers. So your flowers will move. You might get a little frustrated, but it's okay because you can always move them again. And as you put each flower in, they'll move more and more. So see how mine fits in? It's right below the vase line. Hope you can see it. So now I'm just gonna pour some water in. All right, so we're gonna start with the white hydrangea. So I really like hydrangeas because they're a little different. So obviously they're really big. You can just pull the plastic down. But I like hydrangea because they're a little different in that they also drink from their leaves. So they obviously drink from the stem. But if your hydrangea is starting to fade out, you can just fill up a bowl of water, put the hydrangea upside down in the water for about 2 minutes or so, and it'll rehydrate itself. It's really a cool thing. You can also do it with your baby hydrangea. So I'm going to go ahead and take the cover off the baby hydrangea as well, just so that it starts to open up a little bit more. They're a little tight, but we keep these on just for transport purposes. So the baby hydrangea is neat because it's supposed to be the same size, but it's cut as a baby to keep this green color. So this could have been a white, it could have been purple, pink. I'm not sure the color was supposed to be, but anyways. So we're going to start with the white hydrangea. You decide how many leaves to keep based on pushing all the leaves up and what goes around the face. So this one's a little too short, so I'm going to pop that one off just gently. Put it to the side. Pop this one off as well because it was also short. And you can see that these leaves frame the hydrangea. This one's going to be in the back, so I'm going to pop this off. The reason I'm doing that is because if I pop the leaf off, more water will actually go to the face of the hydrangea and it won't be wasted on the leaf. So the hydrangeas are a little heavier, so they're both going to be resting on the side of the vase. So you do have to cut them a little short. It's better to cut them a little longer than a little shorter at first. You can always take off. Whoopsies. I forgot my floral scissors. Hold on just a moment. All right, I got my scissors. So you guys can use floral scissors. If you have normal scissors, that works. If you have a knife, a sharp knife, you can use that as well. Really, whatever you have at home should work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and you cut all your flowers at an angle. We do this because we want the most amount of water going up. So first I'm just going to measure out to see if my hydrangea is long enough. Need it a little bit shorter. Again, you want it just resting on the side of the vase. So cutting it shorter, pulling the leaves up, and it is just resting on the side. So what I'm going to do is with hydrangea, you want it to get the most amount of water possible. So I'm going to take the scissors and cut it upward like that. And then again, kind of like a plus sign or an X, however you have it tilted. So now I'm going to put this in, and it is resting right on the vase. Just like this. So then I'm going to take my other baby hydrangea, do the same, check which leaves to keep. I think for now I'm going to keep all of the leaves just because they do frame the face well. Yours are going to be a little different, so you can decide. I'm going to go ahead and cut this so that it's short enough to go on the lip. So I don't like perfect ball arrangements. I like mine to be a little different. I like the different heights, the different textures. So I'm not going to do this symmetrical. I like doing it at a little bit of an angle. So the two hydrangea are not directly across from each other. They're to the side, if you can see a little bit. And I do need to cut this guy down a little bit more. Feel free to pause this whenever you want if I'm going too fast. It's the beauty of recording. All right, so I have my two hydrangeas in. Next, we're going to use our 4 hot pink roses. They're called Pink Floyd. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Secret Garden roses as well, which are these light pink color because we're going to prepare all of our roses at the same time. So a total of 6 roses. So in nature, roses grow in groups of 3. So that's why you'll see a lot of arrangements, generally groups of 3, not always. That's why you'll see a lot of arrangements will have flowers grouped in 3s, like this. So we're going to do this for one set, but not all the sets. So to prepare our flowers, we are going to pull all of the leaves off of our roses and just set them aside. And then for the thorns, be careful. All the roses have thorns, including the spray roses. So with the thorns, you can just take your thumb and snap them all off. If you'd rather, you can take the scissors and cut them off. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. So we're just going to go ahead and fix up all of our roses at the same time. So normally when we go to the truck, we do this for you ahead of time so that no one hurts themselves. Prep takes quite some time when you have so many roses on a truck, but it's what you got to do. So you might want to have a trash can nearby. Ooh, hurt myself. Be careful, guys. Also, make sure if you have any pets at home, none of those thorns fall on the ground. Make sure you sweep or vacuum right after class, because obviously we do not want to hurt any of our pets today. Lily's right here at my feet. She's a good little helper. All right, 2 more. So these Secret Garden roses are nice because they don't have many thorns. Uh-oh, it really got me. And if they do have a thorn, they're probably going to be towards the bottom. All right, so next for our roses, we're going to check the guard petals. So if you have any petals that aren't the most beautiful petals, we pull off all the imperfect ones. So the guard petals help the rose grow. That's when they do their job. And once they're mature, they're not really needed anymore because as you'll see here, they're more of the yellow color. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull those off. Again, if you see any petals that are imperfect, you can pull those off as well. It's up to you. It's all about what you want to do, not about what I'm saying. So I'm going to pull these off. And then same with these. These are so nice and big. They're beautiful. And all of your flowers, especially roses, will continue to open throughout the next few days. So that's nice. All right, so I'm going to start with my Pink Floyd, the big fuchsia ones. So right now it looks like half of our arrangement is one big white hydrangea. What we're going to do is we're going to try to break that up a little. So I am going to put one flower kind of towards the top middle of the hydrangea. I don't generally have any flowers straight up and down. You try to put all your flowers in at an angle, And I put all mine on at different heights. Again, if you'd rather have more of a ball shape, that's totally fine. You can make them all the same height. I just want to make it a little bit different. So I'm going to start cutting this one a little longer than I expect, just to see. I'm going to hold it up. It looks like the right height when I get it in my angle. So I'm going to find a little spot in my hydrangea, not a hole per se, but somewhere where there's a little bit of less petals. And then just gently put it in through the hydrangea into the wire. So mine got caught up in a leaf, so I need to pick a new spot. If it is tough to get in, especially once we do start having more stems in there, you can kind of twist your flower through the chicken wire and the other stems. So let's see, that's a little bit high, as I suspected, so I'm going to cut it down a tad bit more. See how I kind of have the hydrangea hugging it a little bit, just so I have a bit more up top to break it up. We'll add some more flowers in there as well. The next hot pink, I'm going to put on my rim. So I have a big rim spot here. I'm going to put one right here next to this hydrangea. So it's resting on the rim just like our hydrangeas were. Little shorter. Again, it's better to cut them longer at the beginning so that you have some to trim off if you need, better than shorter. We want them all to reach the water. I'm going to do the same with my other rows on this side between the two hydrangea. Have it resting on the side. And I'm just pulling this hydrangea leaf up so it fits right between. I need to look at it. Make sure it's where I want it to be. I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. Oops. You want as clean a cut as possible. So see how I kind of have two roses close together? This is what I'm talking about with the 3 roses. So when we do put this one in, we're going to put it a little bit above so that there's a little group of 3. But first I'm going to use my other Pink Floyd, and I'm going to put it more towards the middle. So I have 2 on the rim, 1 in the hydrangea, and 1 little bit in the middle, a little bit higher. So we're going to have to fill in around this guy because it's kind of a loose one right now. So general rule of thumb, you want your arrangement to be as tall as your vase is. So take your vase, say here, I have mine a little taller, which is fine. Just don't want it a little lower, else it's a little short and fat. So I'm going to take my Secret Garden roses now that we already prepped. And as I said, I'm going to put one right here so that it's near the other 2. So we have our group of 3 roses. Then the other Secret Garden rose I'm going to put over here closer to the lip of the vase. And I'm going to cut it down a little more. All right, and if your roses are a little too closed, if you'd like them to open more, mine are very open because I did leave mine out. Yours have been in the cooler. You can blow on the rose. So the heat from your breath, if you blow, just makes them open a little bit more. All right. So now we're gonna take our spray roses. Everyone should have 2 spray roses. Some might have a lot of blooms, some might have less blooms. They all range a little differently. So same thing with these spray roses is we're gonna take off the leaves carefully and watch for thorns. They have littler thorns which are just as sharp. So be careful. We are gonna strip it of all the leaves. And I have one that came broken right here, just a little stem, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut that off. All right, so then same with the other one. Careful of thorns. This one's nice and full. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the fuller of the two up top, and I'm gonna put the 3 on the rim next to this hydrangea right here. Just to fill it in a little. So go ahead and cut it down. If you need to cut it down, see how it kind of breaks into a little fork in the road? You can cut it above that, just keep them together. If you don't want to keep them together, we can do something else with that rose later. So I'm gonna put them a little vertical. And I didn't cut them short enough, so I do have to cut it above and just keep all 3. They're separate, but keep them together. So this guy kind of fell in. I'm going to pull him out and use him somewhere else later. You don't want any of your flowers to get lost. Why hide the beauty when you can use them somewhere else? So now I have 2 there. And then this guy I'm just going to pull aside and use him in a little bit. So now I have my big spray roses. Cut them a little longer since they're going to go more up top. Here we go. All right. So here's my arrangement so far. Now I'm going to take this little guy that ended up coming off. Now he has a short stem, so I'm going to put him a little lower. But I'm going to stick him into the hydrangea as well, just to break up the hydrangea, just like we did with the larger rose. Just make sure it goes all the way through so it is in water. So I put him next to the other spray roses, but I put a little bit of hydrangea in between. Got some lily hair on here. All right, so next we have berries. Everyone should have 2 berries today. So we're going to strip the berries just like we did with the roses. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands in a pinch, put them above these leaves right here, and just strip it down. We're going to do the same with this one, pinch, and just pull the leaves right off. No thorns there, so it makes it a lot easier. All right, clean up my area a little. So now I'm going to take my berries, decide where I want them before I clip them. So let's see, do I have any gaps? Especially towards the bottom. So I do have a gap here. I'll probably put a berry there, right between my hydrangea and the rose. And then I'll probably put another one over here a little higher. So let's see. Might be a little tall, so I'll use them on this side instead. Again, I'm going to make my berries pop up a little because I don't want that perfect shape. So I've been poking out a little bit. And then if you decide it's too much, you can cut them later. Cut this guy a little shorter. Put him right there. So we just had him patch up some holes. Don't worry if you have too many because we still have some more coming. All right. So now I'm going to pull my dahlia out and just set it aside. We're about to use it. So dahlias are very delicate. Some of you might have some extra buds on yours. It's your lucky day because they're so cute. You can decide if you want to use them or not, but we'll get back to the dahlia in a moment. All right, so now we are going to use our ruscus. So I really like this Israeli ruscus because it's a true green. It's tough. It lasts forever. And it's also long and thin. So what we're actually going to do today is we're going to cut this stem and use it as 2 stems. So if you have leaves that are, generally we'll just use the top leaves, so like the top 3 or the top 5, an odd number. But what we're going to do to make it cut in 2 is we're going to take it about halfway down, and these 3 leaves are together, and I'm just going to cut right above the leaf. So now I have this one, and I have this one. So you don't want any leaves below the water line. It will make bacteria grow in the water, which we do not want. So I'm just going to carefully pull off bottom few, and we don't want it to be too crowded, so I pulled off a little extra. Now I'm just going to look. This is a small piece, so we probably want it towards the bottom. I have a little bit of a gap here, so I'm just going to fill it in with a little bit of greenery. I really like greenery because oftentimes it makes other colors pop more, especially this ruscus because it is such a true green. So I'm just going to pull off a few more leaves, pull off all of them, just use these top 3. Make him a little taller because I have a gap here, right in the middle. So I just stuck them in to make the leaves come over a little bit. Now we should have another piece of ruscus to do the same. So let's see, I want this guy a little taller, so I'm going to cut him above this group of leaves. Again, strip off whatever you don't need. And let's see, I'm going to put him right here into this gap. Just going to make sure all my flowers are pushed in so that they're in water. I can easily see where the gaps are. Here's my other ruscus. I'm going to put him right here where I have this little gap. Just for a little green popping out. There we go. So you can't even tell that he was the bottom half when you push it in. All right, so now we're going to use our dahlia. So our dahlia is our focal flower today. I left a little bit of room at the top of the arrangement. I didn't really mean to, but if you have a gap on the side, you can put it there. The nice thing about the dahlia is it's leaning, so when you put it in, it's not going to be straight up. So I'm going to go ahead, my dahlia is weird shaped, so I'm going to go ahead and pull off all the leaves. Even if yours is not weird shaped, you can pull the leaves off too. It's just how they grow. So let's see, I want him a little taller because he is the focal flower today. Dahlias are very seasonal. They're late summer and fall flowers. So I'm going to cut them right above this nub because I know that that nub might be a little tricky to put through chicken wire. And I'm just going to slide him in right on top, like so. Perfect. All right, now I need to see my arrangement at eye level just to see what I'm missing here. Push my hydrangea in a little more. Awesome. Okay, so now we have seeded eucalyptus. So I picked seeded eucalyptus today because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Workshop. And the seeded eucalyptus is a little, I'd say it's more feminine. It's a pretty sage colored green, so it's very different from the ruscus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off a little bit of the eucalyptus. And then pull off whatever is below the water line. So I have this, it's droopy. So you're going to have to tuck it up or pull off these shorter pieces. But I have a hole that I want to fill, so I'm going to pull it up, pull off whatever I think is going to be too low. And let's see. I'm going to put him in right here. There we go. And then I'm going to put some in here. I already have ruscus there, but that's okay. Complements the ruscus well. There we go. These are also good if you have some space down here by the lip of the vase because they do droop, they hang a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put another piece and put him down there. So he'll kind of hang over the side, which I think is cute. So I'll try to find a place on the other side to do just that. Now see, I found that this guy got pushed down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully pull him out, and I want him to be more of a focal flower. So I'm going to have to push him back in a little bit higher this time. So you do have to redo them because they move around sometimes. Here we go. And now I'm going to try to break up this hydrangea a little bit. So I'm going to put a little right here. Just a baby piece. Make sure he goes all the way through into water. All right. So I have leftover eucalyptus. It dries beautifully. You can hang it upside down or put it in a vase with no water. And if you rub the leaves, smell it. It smells really good. I actually keep some in my bathroom because when the steam comes out, it makes it smell great. So then next, we have two scabiosa. They're gorgeous flowers, but the name's kind of odd, scabiosa. I don't know. But I have these guys today. They have a bit of a thicker base, and then they get thin, so they are very delicate. You want to make sure that they don't break. So what I'm going to do with the scabiosa is I'm going to make them come out a little bit higher than the rest of the flowers, just kind of like I have the dahlia here, coming out a little bit higher. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to trim this berry down because I think he's a little too tall. I don't want him to take away from the other flowers. There we go. So I still have a little hole here. I am going to take more of my seeded eucalyptus, fill it in. All right, and then I'm going to take the scabiosa, whoopsies, cut it a little taller than I think it's going to need to be, and just put it on the side. There we go, just a little taller than the rest. And I'm going to do the same, not directly on the other side, but somewhere near it. Let's see. I think I'll pick right here. There we go. And that should be it for today. So here's my arrangement. I hope you guys enjoy yours. Again, if you don't want to use all of the materials, you don't have to. If you have anything you want to add, go for it. And I hope you enjoy your class. Happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and thanks so much. I hope to see you guys back at your apartment soon. Thanks for taking the class, guys. Thank you so much for supporting breast cancer awareness. I'm going to give mine to my dear friend who recovered from breast cancer. If you have someone you want to give it to, or you can enjoy it yourself. I just want to go over a little bit of care with you. So flowers don't like direct sunlight once they've been cut from the garden, so make sure you keep them out. Indirect sunlight's just fine. If you really want them to last, you could keep them in the refrigerator overnight. But these stems are going to drink a lot of water in the next few days, so make sure you keep replenishing their water. You can change it every other day. That's best. But feel free to tag us on social media. Lily's Flower Truck, we'd love to see what you came up with. That's my favorite part of teaching these classes and what people pick from the truck. I love seeing everyone's creativity. So thank you again and have a great night. Enjoy your wine.